Joining me now to talk more about President Xi's visit is Afshin Molavi. He's a senior fellow at the Foreign Policy Institute at the Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies. Afshin, nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
Let's talk about China's One Road, One Belt initiative. Economically, what does it mean for Serbia? What does it mean for Poland? And what does it mean for Uzbekistan, all three countries that President Xi has visited?
Absolutely. You know, this One Belt, One Road initiative, I don't think it gets enough credit here in the United States where we sit. This is one of the most breathtakingly ambitious initiatives out there in the world today. And now, I think what it means for Serbia and what it means for Poland, what it means for Uzbekistan, is what it means really for all the countries along this One Belt, One Road. Infrastructure investment, greater connectivity. History has shown that countries that have greater connectivity have a chance to trade more and they have a chance to grow more prosperous. So that's really ultimately what it means.
But it also comes with a lot of challenges, doesn't it? What are some of those challenges?
Well, I think the challenges, what we're going to find in places like Uzbekistan, one of the challenges is when infrastructure projects are invested in with Chinese companies, they'll often bring in Chinese labor. And there has been some tension in Uzbekistan with the import of Chinese labor, and Uzbekistan has actually limited the number of Chinese laborers that can come in. But having said that, I don't think many countries are opposed to large infrastructure investments, even with some of the kind of because these are not kind of infrastructure investments with onerous restrictions on them. These are infrastructure investments with loan repayment terms that can be met, and so I think the labor issue is probably the one big issue.
What about concern about terrorism,
yes.
Afshin? How does that play into all this?
Well, I think what we saw when the visit of President Xi Jinping to Uzbekistan, they did talk about counterterrorism cooperation, security cooperation. They listed terrorism and separatism, actually, as two of the key issues that they're going to work on together.
I want to talk about Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
Sure.
India and Pakistan invited to join the group. How significant is this? Clearly the first expansion in 15 years since the founding of
Absolutely,
this organization.
Very significant. I mean, these are the two big powers of South Asia in a sense. We see the Shanghai Cooperation Organization just grow dramatically with these two entrants. Now, what's interesting about the Shanghai Cooperation Organization geopolitically is 15 years ago when this was founded, China didn't have really much of a big footprint in Central Asia. So this looked good on paper, but it was really on paper. Now, this idea that Russia is the big power in Central Asia is a fiction. China has surpassed Russia in terms of, if you just look at the infrastructure investments, you look at the trade, you look at all of the things that China is doing. I mean, Gazprom, in a sense, the big Russian gas player, has been pushed out of Central Asia by CNPC. So in a way, on this 15-year anniversary, China and Russia still remain big powers in Central Asia, but China, I would argue, is the more important power.
And I have to ask you about Iran. Will Iran be invited to join as a full member?
It's unlikely. I mean, one of the things that we've seen when it comes to Iran is China and Russia both view Iran in tactical ways. They treat Iran in a tactical manner.
What does that mean?
When it comes to, so for example, they don't view them strategically as strategic partners. When it comes to investments in Iran, when it comes to, you don't see a lot of Chinese investment in Iran, you don't see a lot of Russian investment in Iran, you see tactical trade relations with Iran.
Afshin Molavi, so much more to ask you, but we've run out of time. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.